afternoon, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a nice big VR to Retro Rivals and their hot takes videos, which I thought were really cool and really fun to watch. So I'm going to take each of their hot takes and say if I agree or disagree and give a brief kind of explanation why. I think it's important to note as well that we're all adults and we can have that kind of discourse and chat, and we can agree, we can disagree. Like, there's no big drama. It's just it's just a matter of opinion. But anyway, let's start at the beginning, I guess. So their first hot take was trophy hunting being a completionist and why. So my thoughts on trophy hunting and being completionist, 1000G and things like that is, I would kind of agree, like, it's not something for me. I don't strive towards getting platinums or 1000Gs or anything like that, or 100% in games. It's not my kind of thing to do. Certain games I will stick in and go for it because I'm invested in that game. Like, the most recent one that I've done would be Returnal. So I got the platinum in Returnal because I absolutely love Returnal. I wanted to do everything in it. I still need to go back and do the DLC. But another game recently that's cropped up is Morbid 7 Acolytes. So we're playing that just now on the 52 Club, where we spin every month and pick a new game. I really enjoyed Morbid. I thought it was a really cool game. Lots of cool lore in that game. But I don't have the desire to go and get the platinum, even though a lot of the guys are saying that it is pretty simple, it's pretty attainable. But I've done the game, I enjoyed it, and I've moved on from it. So for me, trophy hunting's not massive on my list. The next one they touched on was Smash Bros. No thanks. I would strongly agree with this. I do not like Smash Bros. I think Smash Bros is, I think it's a silly game. I don't think there's anything to it. I think it's quite pointless. I remember this one time at work, somebody who I work with, and I'm not going to mention names or anything, but this guy, I don't even work with him, he just works at the hotel, and he said to me one time that Smash Bros is just like Tekken, and I was like, it's nothing like Tekken, man. Like like Tekken and beat 'em up one-on-one fighters are fine. I do enjoy them. I don't play them that much, but Smash Bros, nah, Smash Bros is absolutely pants. The next hot take was save states are kind of a cheat. I do know where they're coming from. I don't play much retro games, but I do know where they're coming from. If you're going to play a retro game and beat it, I would think you would want to play it in its original kind of format and beat it the way it was meant to be intended. Whereas if you were to use save states, then you would finish the game, which is cool as well, but you wouldn't necessarily beat it the way it was intended, if that kind of makes sense. I don't have much to say on that one because I don't play much retro, to be honest. The next one was Xbox 360 should have won the war. Strongly disagree. Disagree so much. Like, I don't mind the 360. The 360 is fine, but it's just nothing compared to PS3. The PS3, I'm a big, massive Sony pony. PlayStation will always win, all the time, because it's just the better system. The kind of point Scott was making though was that the console iterations from the 360, they got better throughout the generation because of the hardware and things, and the red ring of death and everything. And he was putting through some valid points, but the overarching question was that 360 should have won the war. Absolutely not. Not a chance. Never in a million years. PlayStation always. And it's just, and it's quite funny though, because you're seeing, obviously, with the store shutting down and all these channels scaremongering, like, oh, get these games before they go. It's quite boring, to be honest. It's just it's just annoying. 360 is fine console, absolutely, but it would never have won the war. It never should have won the war. The PS3 is king, and that is that. The next one they put was couch co-op far superior to online gaming, which I would agree as well with. But I do think online gaming does have its place as well, obviously. But couch co-op is a lot better. I do agree with that. But there was, like a couple of years ago, I would play a lot of online gaming with my friends, and with my friends, we would play Warzone and we'd play Fortnite and things like that. And it was more of a kind of social tool. Like we'd go on after work and we'd just talk about work and vent, and then play some Fortnite or whatever we were playing at the time. And even my missus, who's not a big gamer, she would play Fortnite as well at some point, and she would talk to her friend on the headphone on the headset, rather than texting and things like that. They would just play Fortnite, and that was another kind of avenue for them to chat and things. Another plus for the online would be, like, I used to play a lot of Destiny as well with my two brothers, and they've recently wanted to get back into it, but Destiny is just such a big game. There's a lot that I've missed, and I don't know where I would start if I was to jump back into Destiny. I did like it though. In fact, I loved it. I absolutely loved Destiny back in the day, like Destiny 1, Destiny 2. And then I've got this really cool story. Was there was one night that my brothers weren't wanting to play. They didn't want to play Destiny, so I was just sitting on my own, and then this is when matchmaking was just introduced to Destiny. So I hit the matchmaking, and I just waited, and then I finally joined this squad, and we did a raid in Destiny 2, and I can't remember the name of the raid. It was the one in the kind of big cabal kind of area. It was all gold and purple and things. I can't remember the name of it, but it was so cool, man. But anyway, it was my first time ever doing a raid, first time ever like playing online with different people. And I had the headset on, and there was lots of people like shouting at me and things like that because I didn't know what I was doing. But then this one guy came on, and he was talking. He told all the other guys to shut up, and he started asking me questions like, "Have you done a raid before?" I was like, "No." "Have you played in a squad before?" I was like, "No." And he said, "Okay, so this is what you do." And then all the other guys kind of turned around and became more friendly, and the characters on the screen started showing me what I had to do before the kind of event happened, kind of thing. So they would show me, right, you have to come over here, you have to shoot this item over here, this symbol over here, and then once you shoot that symbol, you've got to jump over here into this ring, blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. And there's loads of different moving parts. So sometimes you've got to split up into like you'd have a fire team of 6, I think it is, and you had to split up into 3 teams of 2. And it was all very overwhelming for me, but they walked me through it, and we finished the raid, and that was an amazing experience. Absolutely amazing experience that was just out of this world. Absolutely loved it. However, the question was, the point was, couch co-op is far superior to online gaming, and I would agree, but not strongly agree, because I do have lots of great memories of online stuff. Even more remakes. So Jen mentioned that she wants more remakes, and I would strongly agree with this as well. I think remakes are fantastic. I think they're fantastic in the sense that they can be the best way to play a certain game. For example, like Resident Evil 4 remake. If you've not played Resident Evil 4 before on the Wii and things like that, then you've got the opportunity to play it on the PS5 remade. That's the way to go. It's fantastic, especially now you get it in VR as well. VR is brilliant. Yeah, but I seen as well. So I was watching Nerdy Geezer's video like not long ago as well, and he was saying how, I can't remember if he was doing a rant video, I can't remember, but he was mentioning that there's too many remakes and they want originality, blah blah, all this sort of stuff. And where I do agree with Lee as well, like we do want originality, we do want new stuff, but the remakes are fantastic. There is a need for remakes as well. Whereas Lee would say that they were being lazy, and I do kind of get that point as well. But when we do get original games like sometimes they just fall by the wayside as well. Like, some people don't appreciate like new IPs. I'm trying to think of examples. So an example would be what game I played recently, Death Stranding. Absolutely amazing game, absolutely amazing, love it. But you've still got that kind of community where people are just like, oh, it's just a walking simulator, it's a DHL simulator, like a delivery man simulator, and it's pointless and blah blah blah. But that was somebody like Kojima going for something new rather than making remakes, and it hit with a lot of people and it missed with a lot of people as well. So it really kind of divided the fan base, I guess. One game that I do really want remade, remastered, whatever, is because I am right into the Remedyverse at the moment. So with Alan Wake and Control, so I really want a remake or a remaster of Quantum Break, because I really enjoyed that game. I played it on the Xbox One last year. It's fantastic and it fits into all that sort of Remedyverse kind of feel. But the game itself, I felt, was just a little bit jarring, a little bit framey. I think if they just remastered it, just gave it a polish, released it in the PS5, I'd love it. I'd love to have a Quantum Break remake or remastered. So I do agree, more remakes, absolutely. Sports games do matter. Again, I would agree with this because sports games do matter. There's a lot of sports games that I might not play now, but I used to play way back in the day, like all the kind of FIFA's back in the Mega Drive, and then moved on to Pro Evos on the PlayStation 2, and now it's back onto FIFA's on the kind of more recent consoles. Like sports games do matter. Sports games get people together. My son's right into sports just now as well, so he plays FIFA all the time. I don't just mean FIFA 24. He has at one point had 3 FIFAs installed on the PS5. He's had EA Sports 24, he's had FIFA 18 and FIFA 20. No, FIFA 19. He's had 3 FIFAs installed on the PS5, and I was raging with him because it takes up so much space. But sports games do matter, I do agree. Modern horror games are lackluster. I would disagree with this, and I do kind of see where Jen's coming from with this one, and Scott kind of hit the nail on the head with it when he said that she's became a bit desensitised with the horror genre. I think the horror games have got better, but a lot of horror games as well these days have been kind of indie kind of horror games, so the budget's been lower. Therefore, there's not been too much time, too much effort put into them. But the ones that really stand out have been absolutely excellent. I think back in the day, obviously with Silent Hill comes to mind, with the lack of draw distance, so they used like a fog effect, and that was absolutely special. But these days, obviously, they've got all the bells and whistles, and they can do everything. And some, like I do get brushes coming from. Like some are all just quite cookie cutter, quite cut and paste from a lot of games that are coming out at the moment. A kind of horror game that I've just played recently would be Bramble the Mountain King, which Jen actually recommended as well. And that game is absolutely fantastic. It's a very dark, horror-ish kind of fairy tale folklore take on a Swedish folklore. And that game is absolutely brilliant, but it's not like jump scare horror. Right? It's just a dark game that's just really cool. Another one I played recently and I absolutely loved, and Jen wasn't so keen on it, was Madison. I thought Madison was great, especially with the sound design. It was the sound design, then the kind of claustrophobic feel of the house, and then when you went into like the basement and things like that, I just loved. I thought Madison was excellent, and I'll hopefully be getting that soon on VR as well. So I'll play through it again with my brown pants on. But yeah, I would have to disagree with that one. I think horror games are better. However, there is a lot more of them, and a lot of them can kind of get lost in the kind of ether of horror game releases, I guess. The next one was Xbox was the best console in the 6th gen. Again, my Sony pony hat on here. Absolutely not. No, 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 not a chance. Not a chance in hell was Xbox the best 6th generation console. PS2 was king of that console generation, and that's that. I do understand that the Xbox had better specs and things like that, and things ran better, but it doesn't matter. PS2, always. So strongly disagree. DLCs, I'm done. Why bother? This would kind of go back to kind of like the trophy hunting thing. I would agree to a certain point as well, but there is some games that the DLCs do add a hell of a lot to the game. Things that jump to mind would be the Borderlands series. Sorry. So the Borderlands 1, I remember the Dr. Zed's Zombie Island. That was a fantastic DLC, absolutely fantastic. Added a whole new breath of fresh air to it. But then there was so many more. The General Knox one, the Claptrap one, Revolution, and then in Borderlands 2, tons and tons of DLC on that as well, with the Captain Scarlet's booty and things like that. So DLC I think is fantastic. But then again, recently there's been DLC for games that I might not go back to anytime soon, like Tales of Arise. Absolutely love Tales of Arise, but they released a DLC for it and it was like 20 quid, so I'm not paying 20 quid to go and play a DLC or whatever the price was. Final Fantasy 16 again, absolutely loved Final Fantasy 16, fantastic game, but I haven't gone back yet to the DLC. What other games was there? Final Fantasy 15, they released like episodes, DLC episodes for each character. I went back to all of them except for the Ardis, is that his name? Can't remember his name. The bad guy. I've not done his DLC yet. But again, like I was mentioning earlier as well, I've got Returnal's DLC to go back to, which is the Tower of Sisyphus, and I cannot wait to go back to that. And like, I'll definitely go back to that. So I would agree that sometimes DLC, I'm kind of like on the fence with that one. Sometimes DLCs 100% have to play it. Sometimes I'll just kind of go by it. Recently as well, Alan Wake 2's DLC, I played all that as well. Fantastic. Like I was talking about the Remedyverse, it kind of branches off into, absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to disagree. I was on the fence, but now I'm disagreeing because the Alan Wake DLC was fantastic. In the past, the Borderlands DLC, brilliant. So, disagree. Kart racers all suck. Disagree. I think when a lot of people think of kart racers, they think of Mario Kart. And if this point was Mario Karts all suck, I would agree. I would 100% agree. But I don't agree because I do like kart racers. Kart racers are good fun. Especially, my favourite one would be Crash Team Racing on the PS1. Me and the missus used to play that a lot, like a couple of years ago. Like, we've not played it in a while. But then we got the Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and that game is solid, man. But the original was fantastic. So I would just about disagree with kart racers all suck. Next point was resellers are masquerading as hunting channels, and I see exactly where this is coming from as well. And what was it Scott said? He said not all hunting channels are resellers, but all resellers are hunting channels, which is bang on the money. Yeah, I would say strongly agree with that because I don't think they've said anything wrong. I think that is absolutely correct. The next hot take was complete console libraries are pointless. Strongly agree, 100% agree. I know that people do go for strong, full libraries, which is fantastic. That's brilliant. That's a great goal to have if that's what you want to have. But for me, I do agree. It's absolutely pointless. I do not want to play. I'm trying to think. So like Retro Ghetto comes to mind, Callum. So he's got the full Wii U set, which is brilliant. But recently he picked up My Horse and Me Too, and we kind of chatted about it just briefly. And I was like, nobody needs My Horse and Me Too. And he was like, well, and we were talking about full set collectors and things like that, and he actually played a bit of it in his channel, which is quite funny. And then he lost his save file, I think, gutted. But yeah, like full set collectors, full set collections, nah, they do nothing for me. I don't want to own My Horse and Me Too. I don't want to own Barbie and Bratz and all that sort of stuff. It's a cool thing to go for if that's what you're interested in, but for me it's absolutely a no-go. Like, I'm not going to spend, I don't really know the going price for My Horse and Me Too. I think it's like 80 quid or something like that. I got that once a couple of years ago in a second-hand shop for £1 and I sold it for 80 quid, I think it was. It was the best deal I've ever made in my life. Absolutely not. Full set collections, no chance. Subsets would be a different thing. I think a subset of a certain game I would agree with, and I would go for, like, to have all of the, I don't know, all of the Bioshock games, easy, all of the Assassin's Creeds. Like, if you were to go for a full subset, absolutely agree with that. But then as well, on Retro Ghetto's channel, he was going for the full sets of PS3 Essentials, PS3 Hits, and then it was PS4 Essentials, I can't remember. But again, like, to get the full set, you have to pick up things like FIFA 16, 17, 8. Like, absolutely, I've got no interest in that at all. Like, that doesn't interest me in the slightest. It's cool watching people go for it, and that's their goal and that's their aim, and that's fine. But for me, absolute no chance. Strongly disagree. Strongly agree. Sorry, agree with Retro Rivals. Next one was sim games are stupid, and Scott went on a rant about Power Wash Simulator, and that was quite funny. I know my good friend Ross, he loves Power Wash Simulator. He's beat it on, I'm sure he's beat it on PS4, Xbox. He's got the Platinums, 1000Gs, that you just can't get enough of them. I think it's got that kind of OCD kind of hook, addictive hook. If you're into it, you're into it, man. It will just suck you up and never let go. For me though, I would agree, because they're not things that I would enjoy, and maybe if I did play Power Wash Simulator like Ross did, maybe it would get its hooks in and just suck me in, but I don't want to play it. I've got no interest to play it. But yeah, I would agree. Stupid. Next one was, if everything was to go all digital, would you say goodbye to consoles and just go to PC gaming? I would disagree with that. I would always have a console. Whenever I can have a console, I would always have a console, and it would always be PlayStation, to be honest. But I'm of an optimistic nature. I don't think everything's going to go digital. I think there's loads and loads of channels out there that scaremonger and say digital this and digital that, and it's an end of an era, blah, blah, blah. I don't agree. I think things will always come out physical. Always, eventually. Alan Wake 2 was a prime example. Like, I got it for my birthday last year. Absolutely loved it, and everyone was crying about it. Oh, I'm not getting it because it's not physical and da 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 da. But now it is becoming physical, so I hope everybody will get it, everybody will play it, everybody will get to enjoy it, everybody will get to experience it, because it's fantastic. But that's just case in point. I think this whole all digital thing is nonsense. I think it will blow over eventually, and I don't think everything will go all digital. But I'm just being optimistic. So, would I go to consoles if everything went all PC? If everything went all digital? Nah, I'd still stay with consoles, and particularly PlayStation. So, disagree with that. Couple more. So, Scott had a fantastic hot take here. Oh, he had a fantastic one here, and then at the end he just blew it. Like, I thought we were becoming soulmates, but then at the end he just blew it out the way. unbelievable what he said at the end, but we'll get there in a minute. But this one was The Last of Us 2 is better than the first Last of Us. I would agree to a certain extent. I think obviously the first Last of Us, absolutely fantastic game, like game of the generation. It was just so good, and I just think back on it, it is an absolute masterpiece. And then Last of Us 2 is released, and everybody started review bombing it, and this and that and this and that. Everyone was up in arms because, spoiler alert, if you've not played it, Joel dies. Everybody was raging about that, and I just couldn't get my head around why people were so angry about it. Everyone was saying, oh, that was our main character, that was our favourite, and how can they do that to us, how can they take... In my mind, when I was playing The Last of Us 2, when Joel died, like, Joel dies for a reason. Like, Joel's not Superman, he's not immortal, like, he's gonna die. Joel done bad things. Even what he does at the end of The Last of Us 1 is a bad thing. It's a terrible thing. However, if I'm in his shoes and my kid's on that operating table, I'm taking my kid away. Even though it's not Joel's kid, Joel has that connection with her. And I would be comfortable with that. I'll be comfortable being the bad guy. He did bad things, terrible things. And Tess even said it in Last of Us Part 1. What is it she said? Just before you leave, Tess, she says something like, we're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time. Like, they've done terrible things in the past. He's not a good guy. He is the good guy in the game, but he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. He's did bad things. But we all love him. I love him. You love him. Everyone loves Joel. And the fact... And anyway, back to Last of Us 2. I could talk about Last of Us 2 for ages, if anybody wants to talk about Last of Us 2. Joel dies in the only way that Joel could die in that world, like brutally. Like he got absolutely smashed, and that is the only way he could have died in that world, with Abby's hatred towards him. But then you see that the whole thing with Last of Us 2 is emotions and hate in particular. Hate for the character of Abby, for Joel, Abby's hate for Joel, and then you've got obviously Ellie's hate for Abby for what she does to Joel. But then as a gamer, when you were playing it, I remember when I was first playing it and we were controlling Abby, and I was like, I don't really want to control Abby. And then I just thought, okay, maybe it's just a wee bit that kind of bridges the kind of story kind of thing. But then I started picking up scraps and things like that and items, and I thought, oh, here we go, we're actually going to play it as Abby. But then as the more you play it, the more you see Abby's side. Not just Abby's side, but Abby's kind of family and friends and things like that. Like, you start to feel for Abby, and then you go back to Ellie, and then you start fighting in the cinema. It's absolutely fantastic. It is peak. It's peak gaming, peak storytelling, peak direction. It's just absolutely fantastic. I would agree with Scott that Last of Us 2 is better than Last of Us Part 1. Aye, a lot of people won't agree with that. A lot of people will probably be angry at that, but it's true. Last of Us 2 is just better than Last of Us Part 1. However, at the end of Last of Us Part 2, I think there should have been a choice. As a gamer, I think there should have been a choice, but I can see where it's all going to go. I can see the kind of vision for The Last of Us, and there's going to be a Last of Us 3, so I understand why there wasn't a choice. But as a gamer, I just wanted the choice. I wanted to finish it or not finish it. It should have been my choice. But then again, I can see where it's all going to go, and they had to not give a choice. But anyway, Last of Us 2 better than the first one. I agree. I do agree. Next point was most RPGs are just too damn long. Agree with that. This year I've been on the 12 RPG challenge, and I think I got 6, maybe 7 RPGs into the challenge. Oh, back sore. I get 6 or 7 RPGs into the challenge, and then I've just lost the kind of urge to play RPGs. I've kind of lost the love of RPGs in the last couple of years. I'm much more of a linear kind of gaming person. I like to be told a story and go from A to B to C to D. Like, RPGs sometimes just get a bit too go and do what you want. I don't want to do what I want. I want to experience a story. Most recently, I started Tales of Symphonia, which is a very good game, and I fell off it. I just couldn't be bothered with it. I was enjoying the story. I was enjoying the story of the pilgrimage of, I can't remember her name, but she was becoming an angel, and you were going on this little pilgrimage. I was enjoying it, but I just lost interest. And then I started Final Fantasy IV, so the one with Cecile, and I really enjoyed the start of that, where you were a dark knight, and then you start questioning the king's orders and things like that, and then you then the king sends you away to do a mission in this town, but it turns out that you're actually sitting there to destroy the town without you knowing about it. So you go from being part of the baddies, and then you become a paladin. I was really enjoying Final Fantasy IV, and then again I just fell off it. I'm just dropping off RPGs as much as I start them. I do like RPGs, but they're just too damn long. So I agree. YouTube. The next one was YouTube as a popularity contest. Strongly agree with this. Yeah, I've seen. It's a weird thing as well. So Scott and Jen talked about them being befriended, so they would have people who would be with them and part of the comments and things like that, and then once they've reached a certain threshold of subscribers, they just wouldn't hear from them again. They would just ghost them. It is a popularity contest. I mean, my kind of thing mostly with in that sense is with like Instagram and things like that as well, and YouTube and Twitter and all of it. Like, I see a lot of people doing pickups or showing like a picture of a game, but then that's it really, or they would explain the game, but they would explain the game pretty much word for word from a Wikipedia's first paragraph. Like, there's not a lot of these channels will just put a game up on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and it would just be a game that's trending, or it would be an Xbox 360 game that's recently went off the store. It would be, yeah, just a popular trending game, and you can see through these people like a mile away. Like, you don't play games. You collect games, you make resale games, but you don't play games. You don't understand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really get what they're doing. I mean, they're collecting because they used to like gaming or something. I don't know, but yes, it's definitely a popularity contest. I can see somebody talking about a game on YouTube, but then like a couple of days later, you'll see somebody post it on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is, and it will get like 10 times the amount of views, 100 times the amount of views, just because they're more popular, even though they're not talking about the game that the other person spoke about a couple of days before. It's just kind of weird. It's a funny old world, YouTube, isn't it? Social media. Next one was keeping games sealed is absolutely pointless. Agree. I think games need to be played. I think that's the whole point of it. I do have some sealed games as well, and like Jen and Scott said, they're there to be played. Like, not right now, but they will be played at some point. I do have a couple of sealed games that I do have plans for, but that's for another video. Yeah, a couple of sealed games that I've played before, and that's another thing that I'll do. That sometimes I will do as well, and that I want to do. Sorry, I should say I want to do is if I've got a digital game, I'll get a sealed game copy of it, and then I plan on doing something with those sealed games, like, so I can talk about the game, and then I can say I've got this sealed game, this is for this and this is why I got this. But that's not for right now, that's for another video. But keeping sealed games is absolutely pointless. I agree. However, there's people that do want to collect sealed stuff for the value of it, for reselling. And again, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Like, I won't buy things sealed just to keep sealed, if that makes sense. I don't care about Nintendo first party games. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. I think there's... So, yeah. I'll get a lot of hate for this as well. Like, I like Nintendo, I don't mind Nintendo, but I just think that it is extremely overrated, like, ridiculously overrated when it comes to the games themselves, when it comes to the prices, when it comes to the fanfare that it has. I think it's just very, very overrated. Unbelievably overrated. I do enjoy things like Mario Party. Love Mario Party games. What else I like? Zelda. I liked Zeldas before they went Assassin's Creed. I like... I've only ever played 3 Metroid games, and that's Prime, Super Metroid and Dread. The first 2, Prime and Super Metroid, boring as hell. Couldn't get into them. Metroid Dread, absolutely loved it. Loved it. Best Metroid game out. But yep, I would strongly agree that I don't care about first party Nintendo games. Especially when it comes to the pricing of them. And we've got loads of them. We've got loads of first party Nintendo games because we've got them all for J. So we've got the Origami King, Odyssey, all the different iterations of Mario's, 3D World, Superstars, whatever. Honestly, no. Just no. And then we come down to the last point, which is just where Scott lost me completely. He said Final Fantasy VII is highly overrated and he would not put it in his top 10. I strongly disagree. If there was a higher level of disagreement, I would pick that. Final Fantasy VII will always be a top 10 game. It will be a top 3 game for me forever. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But again, it's all about nostalgia as well, to be honest. Like, if you didn't play it back in the day and you played it now, and I believe Scott played it, the kind of, not the remaster, but the re-release of it, so you could speed up your game, you could put on invincibility, I think you could put on infinite limit breaks. Like, that breaks the game completely. That absolutely breaks it. And even if you say to yourself, I'm not going to use that, there'll be one point where you use it. At some point, you're going to speed up things to make the text go faster, at least. It just ruins it. That ruins the game. But again, like, Final Fantasy VII not making a top 10 list is just blasphemy. Blasphemy. I think that's it. Strongly disagree. So that was about, I don't know how many that was, 20? That was about 20 hot takes from the Retro Rivals, and that's where I agree or disagree. I don't even know how many I agreed with or anything like that. I'll have to watch it back and do a count at the end. But yeah, let us know if there's any hot takes there that you guys agree with, or any hot takes that you guys disagree with. Yeah, it's good to talk. It's good to talk, and let us know your thoughts. Anyway, cheers guys, thanks very much, bye bye.